Hello and welcome back to MSI 2021. We are in Game 3 of the semifinal between Royal Never Give Up, representing the LPL, and PSG Talon, representing the PCS. Maple headlining the crew, you gotta say. I absolutely loved his Silas over in the previous game. Got Doggo ahead, got some solo kills onto Gnar. This man has been around for so long and yet has never won an international best of 5, nor have his teammates, and it would be the first for the PCS, somewhat formerly known as the LMS. See if they can do it here. RNG on their way to their second MSI trophy, if they can make this one happen.
I'm also surprised to see RNG keep their bans the same from game 1. I mean, sure, they did win that game, right? But it was a very hard-fought victory in the end. And overall, it's just going to pan out the same as it did in game 1. They're going to even go back to that Lee Sin. We know Xiao, who was exceptional on it. He's had a lot of great playmaking throughout this whole tournament. And I expect PSG to just rinse and repeat once again. We see the Udyr coming out, and I wouldn't be surprised to see either Kai'Sa or, you know, maybe even ignore the Kai'Sa, actually. After the last performance that Doggo put on Tristana.
I want to see Udyr Morg.
Ooh.
We're not going to see it, but I really want to see it.
You know, or, you go Udyr. If only there was a way to take Udyr, Morg, and Rumble, right? And then you go Rumble, Soleil, Udyr, Jungle, and then Morgana bot. So then you really choke out that pool. But we're going to see the Tristana come in. Again, the AD was highlighting it. Ender was saying, this looks like Doggo's best champion. He is absolutely insane when he finds an advantage on it. And it's also going to give over the Kai'Sa to Gala. Again, we know that is Gala's highlight as well, but not able to find the same impact in the last game. But I also feel like it's because of the draft they played, where they're kind of inserting Kai'Sa into the same draft where they play Tristana, where it's about like peeling frontliners to where, right? We typically expect to see Kai'Sa in with these sort of dive compositions where she can really thrive and assassinate targets.
Right, and I really do think Tristana's power curve also super fits like this game. Tristana is a snowballing champion. She wins a lot of games because your early game looks good, and then you're on the first items plate before them, and you're knocking more turret plates, you talk to more turrets, and you crush the game before we get to 4 items. And like that is how PSG won game 1. Obviously the dives helped, but Tristana is above every other AD carry in succeeding in pre-6 dives. So I think that fits stylistically really, really, really well. Nautilus obviously a good setup there as well. So I think compositionally for these two teams, I think Tristana is more important than Kai'Sa. It might not be true for other teams, but for these two, I think it is. Leona taken off the table. We'll see what other support bans we get.
Yeah, last time around, we did also see the Rel ban come out from PSG, so maybe something like that can always be taken away if you are afraid of this sort of like dive composition. It is a champion that Ming is competent on. If not, we're once again falling down the pool. I don't know if I would expect to see Ming go back to the Braum for a 3rd time, when again, we've kind of established that you do have this Kai'Sa. It is a bit of a different play pattern. Maybe see something like the Alistar if the Rel gets spanned out, or vice versa. And the question is, what do PSG go on for? You would expect maybe your answer into Lee Sin to come out. You really have no reason to blind pick mid when you assume Xiao who's going to be taking up the Lee Sin towards the top lane.
Yeah, unless you're like trying to take Cryan off Orianna, which, hey, to be fair, he's not going to counterpick you. He's not going to win that lane anyway. If you think, hey, we could just get you off Ori, make you a little bit weaker in team fights, that can be a line of play. But they say, hey, Gangplank right now is the hover. Just farm safely up in top side. I'm curious if it's a spicy counterpick. We'll wait to see.
You know, I don't expect the spicy counterpick to come out from Hanabi. Doesn't really seem, not even him being the type of player, right? Because he's the guy that pulled out the Yasuo in 2018, but PSG doesn't seem like the type of team that would allow him to do that. You know, he's gonna play for the boys. That's what he's gonna do. And I guess it's a little bit spicy. We get the Aatrox coming out, something that can go toe to toe. Doesn't exactly win in the first few levels, but once it does hit that level 6 mark, and then especially once we get towards first item Gore Drinker, Lee Sin can all in you. Aatrox will definitely just out-trade.
And Hanabi had not played Aatrox at all in the PCS. He's played it once. It was at MSI. He won the game. He's bringing it out back again. Says, you know what? I like matchup in Lee Sin. And look, he's not the sickest team fighter. Like, you're okay at it, but, you know, you're not Ornn, right, where you're hard starting a fight. But, you know, a decent team fight frontliner, you know, pretty tanky, obviously, overall. There's the Orianna we expected out of Cryan. So even if he has a weak lane, he's obviously got pretty decent utility overall. That Shockwave is quite solid. And Braum, 3 games in a row. It's the hover right now for Ming, just saying, yeah, you know what, screw it. We're going to keep the back line safe. This is all Ming wants to play here.
Yeah, so they're once again going to go towards this sort of composition that, again, doesn't really have a ton of engage. It's more about controlling space, as we saw in game 1. At a point, you will get to where potentially you can fight to get on objective first, but that actually really depends on what PSG lock in as the mid laner. we can once again see the Azir. We saw that worked out really well in game 1 because he was getting early prio. He did use that Emperor's Divide to set up ganks from Hanabi. I think that's something I'd prefer to see more than the Victor, but in the end, they do go with this.
Yeah, with the Azir, he was, as you mentioned, lane dominant. It allowed for the early invades. River got to take away, I believe it was the blue buff, and then overall get a few camps ahead of Wei, and that was pretty useful. But ultimately, they found themselves not able to win teamfights. And you're right, like Azir also has really good teamfight damage output, has some playmaking, which I felt like they were a bit lacking there as well. But, you know, we'll wait to see what Victor comes out with. The one advantage is he's sort of more dynamic when like a Kai'Sa dives in. You can just like press Q and E and those cooldowns are ready, whereas Azir might not always have soldiers or always have the repositioning, so maybe it's a better way to sort of reach the backline damage. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I think this composition kind of takes away that playmaking that you were just talking about from Maple, but now it is in the hands of Hanabi. We saw in game 1 that Hanabi wasn't able to find the impact that he wanted with that Gnar. He was really never able to get out from his side lane or find his way in on a flank with that Mega Gnar bar stacked up. So can Hanabi be the one that steps up for PSG this time alongside Doggo to once again take down RNG?
Yeah, excited to see this one happen. Will it be another early game that PSG Talon carry forward? Or is it answered by Royal Never Give Up? They have come back so often from weak early games, from matchups where you didn't expect them to be the better ones, like in the LPL finals themselves, managed to come back as huge underdogs in that series. And now, look, poised to take down their opposition. They are already 3-1 against PSG Talon, I believe, on the overall record. No, I think they're 2-2. I take that back. I think they split games in the group stage.
Yep.
But if they can get over the opponent here, their expected opponent of Damwon Kia, they 2-0'd them in the group stage. RNG, to me, are still the favorites to win MSI 2021, but standing in their way is a 1-1 scoreline against PSG Talon. And now we'll see how the game's going to shake out here in Game 3.
And it makes me wonder if RNG keeps going back to this Braum pick because of how volatile the bot lane matchup was the last 2 times these two teams met in the Rumble stage, right? Because as we've been talking about in both games, that, you know, as Braum, you really can't find the all-in to kill the enemy support, but they really can't find the all-in to kill you. You kind of nullify it. Bot lane is pretty much a non-factor unless we can see dives come out like we did in the last game. But, you know, again, just kind of projecting towards the future, let's assume or say that this doesn't work for RNG again. Like, how much can you change your draft from what you've prepared now, right? Because it seems like RNG very much believe that this is the strategy to beating PSG Talon if they've now done it 3 times in a row.
I think, honestly, a lot of it is getting Udyr off the table. Like, Udyr is the best early game jungler in the metagame. Now, maybe there's undiscovered early game junglers that you should be playing and haven't thought of. Again, I think actually Olaf has been good and Wei has played it, but that's the kind of thing where River's like, he's going to run at you with Bear Stance and it is going to be a stun. There is no counterplay but flashing, and Udyr can just try again later. Late invade coming in now, 3v3 down there towards the red buff. Trinket Ward will be spotted and killed. And Ming, seen walking in there. Trinket Ward comes down, but it's gotten rid of. And now a flash backwards to stay safe. But this could be all they need. Braum is so good at level 1. Gala finds the stun, gets the pop and the plasma, but Kaiwing's Q's back up soon. Great sidestep. And now if he can just Q to the wall, he's still gonna die. First blood comes across. The late invade is turned around.
Really nice play coming out from RNG. Honestly, I'm surprised that PSG went for that one because, you know, unless Wei would just arbitrarily rank his W without, you know, assuming this could happen, you could always rank your Q. You already hit on Braum level 1 being one of the strongest in the game.
Yeah.
And then it's just so easy to turn. It's so easy for RNG's comp to turn a level 1 play like that around, but yeah, PSG went for the gamble and it did not pay off.
Okay, well, it's going to be a setback here for River. I believe he started Phoenix, or Tiger, I should say. Didn't go Bear Stance for the level 1 play. That would have been really catastrophic because that's 0 damage out of a spell. And ultimately, look, at least both junglers are at 2 camps done, starting up on their 3rd in a moment, both doing wolves. So River isn't terribly far behind farm-wise. Maybe that'll work out, but obviously you love the first blood. You know the first recall for Gala is going to be beautiful.
I also feel like it's another win for RNG in the fact that, you know, you traded Flash's Morgana for Udyr, because Udyr definitely going to be more reliant on that Flash to find this all in, but RNG might be overextended.
Ignite, rocket jump, exhaust traded, but Ming, he is flashless now as... Well, sorry, it's Gala who's flashless. He's on the wrong side of this one. I looked at the scoreboard wrong. They're going to find the kill. Wait, he's just running away. You got to be kidding. How do they not have the damage? Oh, RNG RNG already 2-0 in this game.
Yeah, and you know, they even break down Xiaohu just in case. I think luckily for Xiaohu, he even pushed in his wave top. So RNG not losing out on anything to make this play. They can even keep it going.
Well, they're going to try. It's going to be the Q landing. Xiaohu gets River, and it's the jump away.
Yeah, nice play from RNG. You know, it's really good they found that kill. Sure, they pushed in the wave top, so they wouldn't have lost anything for this play if Xiaohu went back. Wait, Freak, are they going to keep going?
No, he's going to land the Q. He's going to anchor away. They're going for the fights, attacking. One more auto. He can't get in range. And now it's time for even more TP flanks. 3-0 in kills to start out. Gets the Q3. Gets the Victor damage. 2 answered. Make it a third. PSG Talon are right back in the game.
And I'm not sure what's going on, but it was kind of a bait from PSG in a way where they stick around. They still have their double TP up, so it makes RNG think, hey, if they're just going to stick around, why don't we also just stick around? Sadly, they are overextended. They are all about half HP, so PSG does bring in those 2 TPs. Cryan had no mana, that's why he didn't follow in as well. And honestly, I don't think he could have salvaged the situation regardless with how low the other members of RNG were. And somehow we went from like a pretty nice RNG advantage to completely even in this game.
And that anchor, and suddenly Gala, he's alone on a 1v3, and just Kaiwing, 5-stack Plasma, had minion aggro, and then that TP is obviously beautiful as well.
Yeah, really nice from Xiao. And like we said, you look at the top wave, he's already pushing in, so not losing anything out. They realize, hey, you know, Udyr has to back off. He's extremely low. River is very vulnerable as well, doesn't have the heal up. Hits the Sonic Wave, which is really nice to see. Does save the rocket jump, and Doggo still has his flash as well, so I don't feel like he's feeling too much threat. RNG trying to stick around to at least push out this wave. And Maple is very happy with how that turned out.
Yeah, absolutely. The overall dive itself went 2-3. Obviously, the first blood was handed over a while ago. You kind of smile about that one. You're like, wow, I can't believe we actually lost that fight. But this is the game state you are in. 2 kills and an assist. Maple is ahead in the mid lane. Cryan stayed there the entire time. By the way, he never TP'd over. He just sat there and farmed and maybe got a plate, but at most he got, or you know, at least he got 10 CS. That's a great binding. Good setup to block the Braum Q, and that is the only reason Doggo lived. Kaiwing is on point, keeping his teammate alive.
Yeah, really nice from him. I think for RNG, though, you still chunk both of them out. This still should be potentially probably another turret plate for them. We already see that Kaiwing is resetting right now. Doggo shouldn't be able to walk up to the wave because this time, guess what, Doggo? Your teammates do not have TP to save you if RNG do want to be aggressive. And overall, it's still a winning play for the side of RNG.
Nice by Gala. Aggressive Trinket Ward can spot if there are plays to be had. He had touched the turtle a while ago, so was always going to get the plate gold. And it is 49-19 CS down in the bottom lane. Yeah, Trist got 3 assists, but because they were not kills, it's like 70 gold apiece, and that doesn't actually feel too good. So 2 plates already taken, 2 kill lead, 1,300 gold lead between the 2 of them. Yeah, this is a massive bot difference right now. The Dragon will be taken at about 620. RNG with a great early game so far in game 3.
And I'm really surprised, right? Because when we saw this draft once again, we expected kind of similar to before.
Yeah.
That, hey, not much is going to happen as we see Maple just ults for pressure. But not much is going to happen bot side because, again, we've hit on this matchup a few times. Still, though, RNG finds a way to make it happen. The first time, it's actually just counteracting the gank that River throws at them. And now it's a really nice binding from Wei to, once again, push this lead forward. And this has been the defining factor, in my opinion, between these 2 teams the whole time. It's like, hey, we see that both Gala and Doggo are great and exceptional at taking over games. Neither of them are really scared of anything. They're willing to go in, they're willing to follow up, and their positioning in team fights is pretty immaculate. So the fact that Gala is getting off to such a good start, and RNG now has pretty much guaranteed pressure in the bot side, you know, for upcoming Dragons, if they want to rotate first for Rift Herald, I think should be a thing where this time around, RNG are the team with an early game gold lead.
Yes, it is, and that can mean a whole lot for them because the mid game has already proven to be a little bit better, sometimes a lot bit better. And we'll see how that's going to turn out as we get to the mid game portion. Halfway to 15 minutes now into the game. Next Dragon spawning in 4. And we'll see what comes next. 1,200 gold going to remain the difference for a little while. The next thing I'm going to watch for probably is Rift Herald on the top side. Keep in mind a 20 CS lead for Xiaohu. That is impressive because he spent way longer in bot lane than it felt like Hanabi did. So Lee Sin's going to be big, and he's going to really, I think, make sure that the first Herald goes to RNG.
Yeah, and I don't think Hanabi completely pushed in his wave, if I remember correctly, when he went for his counter dive. I think it was almost a turret, but hadn't quite hit yet. So Xiaohu really doing a good job of when he found that timing to TP as compared to Hanabi, who he didn't really have a choice, right? He had to TP right then and there if he wanted to save his teammates. But as we see on the bot side on our mini-map, River trying to get some control of bot lane. Looks like he wanted to try to find a cheeky gank, but RNG really good with their warding.
Yeah, absolutely the case. And we'll see now as bot lane's being pushed around. River gets to get rid of some of the vision themselves. But of course, we know top side is mostly the focus for RNG. There are no objectives in this side of the map. Xiaohu playing it really, really aggressively, maybe cutting the wave, decides, okay, a bit much. They did know River was there. Of course, they saw him kill the control ward, so they know Xiaohu can do whatever he wants. As long as they know where Victor is, there's absolutely no way he is threatened. So does whatever he wants, goes in, takes the wave, gonna, yeah, cut this one pretty aggressively as Wade starts to solo the Rift Herald, as we expect him to. Crying with enough mid pressure, now that Maple had to recall and get back to lane. That's gonna be a Herald taken, but now on the bottom side, Doggo's waiting on Rocket Jump. Q's gonna be held, Gala ults in, but they don't really have the damage. They won't find the stun. Anchor toss away for safety. Nice attempt though, but that is a pretty meaningful ult cooldown missing.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised, right? Because you gotta assume that Ming shouldn't be too far from level 6, so waiting for something else to chain into that combo to try to guarantee a kill would be quite nice. We're gonna see now that PSG looking for a cheeky way to position in an all-in. I feel like RNG should know there's no way Doggo's gonna walk up this aggressively for no reason. Yeah. And yeah, you know, we look at RNG, we've already hit on all the CS leads. They have CS leads in all 3 lanes. They have a CS lead in the jungle. They're winning this early game. They pretty much have a guaranteed Dragon and next Drake, in my opinion, for the fact that they have Herald. They could drop that mid or bot and get that one. They have push in both those lanes regardless. So for me, it's like, okay, PSG can try to cross map, maybe try to find some kills onto Xiaohu. Yeah. But Lee Sin is such a safe champion, right? You have Safeguard, you have Ultimate to kick people away, you have a Flash as well. So it feels like they're very stretched thin for options right now.
They are. I mean, both side lanes are up in gold. Obviously, Gala is gigantic. Still a 30 CS lead plus the 2 kills. But even top lane, you had about, what, 300 gold in Xiaohu's favor. He's had pressure the entire time. The one winning position for PSG is Maple. And so far, he has been completely locked into lane. The CS difference has remained about 10. In fact, it'll grow as there's a wave for Crying to pick up. So I mean, RNG loves the current map state. Xiaohu is running Demolish to, you know, he knows he's already winning his top lane matchup. He's going to get 2 plates for this one just off of Hanabi, you know, on a recall. And that means if you ever summon Herald, this turret's gone.
Yeah, and the thing is, it seems like Hanabi feels like he needs to keep his TP just in case any shenanigans break out in the bot lane, and he knows he needs to be there. So not even being selfish with that one and playing for his own lane state. The thing that's scary about that, though, is that it might let Xiaohu get so far ahead in this matchup. We were talking about earlier that once Score Drinkers come out, actually Aatrox is completely fine into Lee Sin and should be able to find pressure. In this case, Xiaohu might get an item advantage. It might be more side lane pressure for the side of RNG that then in mid game, they're not only winning in all lanes, they not only have great team fighting, but they now have a side lane avenue they can play out as well. And then they just have too many cards in their hand. They have too many options.
Yeah. Well, Kraken Slayer comes around, so Gala is ready and power spiked. Now, he is coming out of the base, so he's not there right away, but timing looks similar to Doggo, who's just on Noon Quiver Pickaxe. That is obviously a very big difference down in that bottom lane. And the second Dragon's coming up, and RNG already in position for it. Xiaohu has his teleport. Hanabi walking downwards. He pushing the wave and is walking to help try to control this one. And PSG, they've got wards, they've got scuttle control, but can the team fight an 1,800 gold difference?
I'm not sure. It looks like, you know, RNG are going to contest. Hanabi will be here first as a thing, but ooh, Xiaohu TP.
Okay, and the positioning is pretty good. However, Cryan cannot get into a good spot. He is zoned out of this fight, so it's going to be a smite fight here. River going to walk up. Phoenix, nicely done, grabs it. But what about the team fight? Anchor's gonna find the backline. Black Shield is good on Nagala. He's gonna flash and ult to safety. No problem there. The re-engage is good on the way. Dies to an explosive charge. 1-for-1 support is dead. Top laner though as well. Gala gets 2 kills out of that fight as trade for the Dragon.
Yeah, still good Dragon by PSG. Xiaohu was trying to get in there. He hit a Sonic Wave onto River, but it was too late. He probably did want to go for that kick onto the Udyr to guarantee that smite. Still, when we got to the actual fight, Wave found an amazing Soul Shackles that I think was on every member of PSG, forcing them in 2 different directions, allowing for RNG to come out with the kill lead. And Doggo might not be safe here, buddy.
Yeah, I guess with explosive charge, Buster shot, his flash, he felt safe enough. Xiaohu, I think, had the same read, like, hey, is he a flash? Yeah, okay, maybe I'll wait. Maybe we don't go for it here, but they are going to kind of share lanes. This is not ideal. One of you needs to recall, and he's going to do so now. I mean, top lane was in a fine spot, so you're not in a, absurdly fast rush. PSG, though, tying the Drake score, but okay, here we go. Herald Summon. Still, gold difference, 2,000 and change. Herald Summon in mid is going to grow that one by another 300. Big damage. It still will not kill Shelly. And River, in fact, is going to run for safety. Barely stays alive. Thankfully for him, Shockwave was on cooldown. Withstands all the stuns.
Wow, that was really close. Now, I think for the side of RNG, you can start transitioning your vision line to top for the next Herald. We're going to see a replay of this Dragon. Sadly, Crying did get zoned off, like you mentioned. And you can see Xiaohu, what do you want to do? Sonic Wave in onto the Udyr, kicked him away, but was just a bit too late. But look at that Soul Shackles from Wei. They get on top of everyone. PSG have to channel into 2 different directions, which allows for RNG to pick up those 2 kills.
Yeah.
Sadly, that Wei did have to go down in the end as well. But guess what, buddy? You got a 4-1 Kai'Sa on your team. I don't think you're down bad.
No, you're looking pretty good here still on RNG. You don't mind too much the fact that the Dragon's only been tied up because your team funding is going to look good. Your overall shot calling macro going to look good as well. Credit to Ming, that Braum is giving a lot of stuns in any of these sort of longer team fights. There's, you know, practically no cooldown, just auto attack someone, Q someone else. They're all going to get stunned up over time. You know, plenty of good auto attackers here, so that's been really effective in locking down champions like the Aatrox, where Hanabi doesn't have that much burst unless you're really fed and you find a flash Q3. You're going to play a longer team fight, and Ming's going to guarantee your stun during that.
Well, that's a great point, actually, because this is a bit of a reason why we saw Braum a little bit early on in Spring Split, because Braum is so good against, like, melee brawlers that want to act as either an engage or a flank, right? Really good against Udyr, the Aatrox, the Nautilus. When champions like Renekton or meta, he does phenomenally against them. You hit them once, you tag the other ones, and your AD carry just goes to town. They can never reach your backline. And it's also, I'd say, a bit surprising that we haven't seen more Braum this tournament and more Braum in the meta. But I do know pro players typically hate to kind of give up lane pressure.
Braum duty, yeah.
They're not a big fan of that, but still, we are seeing the strength of this pick in team fights.
Yes, indeed. And realistically, you don't always have good engage tools out of your other roles, right? Like Lee Sin, that is difficult to engage with. Morgana, that binding is actually very dodgeable in pro play. Like RNG do not have the best team fight setup. Like that is a tax you pay when you pick up Braum. But if you've always got the vision, if you've always got lane priority, wards are your engage. They're going into you, and RNG, more often than not, that tends to be really working out well for them. So this is the comp they've gone with. Again, 3 Braum games in a row. Really not in the meta right now, but hey, right now they're making it work. And we'll see if they can keep making it work as they hit a 3,000 gold lead at 15 minutes.
Yeah, and we're going to see them play around the top half of the map. I think PSG had a good read of trying to punish the mid lane. River, though, they're trying to posture for something. PSG technically do have more members rotating on this side of the map. Xiaohu doesn't have TP, so if PSG can find an engage, is Crying just going to clear the wave with that ultimate?
Yeah, it keeps the turtle alive. I think that's pretty reasonable. Honestly, Victor plus Trist is good damage. That is a great binding. A kick, a Q is gonna land. It's a 2 for 0. Make it a third, and River, he's gonna dry up as well. 4 for 0. Xiaohu heard me saying Lee Sin can't engage. He sure can.
Wei skill shots are so on point with this Morgana today.
Yeah.
I love Xiaohu following up as well. We know that that's what Xiaohu does. Xiaohu is so fearless finding these plays. And guess what, for RNG as well, they even still have the Rift Herald for, you know, any upcoming plays. Dragon's up in 30 seconds. They already have about a 7K gold lead at 16 minutes. This game feels a little bit close to done and dusted.
This one is a clap. This is exciting. Obviously, the late invade at level 1 was a bit rough. Yeah, this binding is sick for sure, and then the Lee Sin follow-up's also great.
Yeah, just really nice. Again, the skill shots are on point today. The mechanics are there. We even see the Kai'Sa W falling up as well to lay down some more damage. He's able to get involved in the fold, and then the Soul Shackles comes out. Wei's just been doing such a good job of finding his way into these fights and really having a massive influence, even if it puts himself in harm's way. He realized, like, hey, I'm not the main carrier of this team. The other members can find a way to influence if they get kills. And again, now we're up to a 5-1 Kai'Sa. It's just slowly ramping up.
It was beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Xiaohu kicked in the Tristana, landed the Q on Victor. So after getting buster shot, he's like, I'm just going right back in. No problem at all. Executes came across. Yeah, obviously, Gala also over the top. Already on 2 items. Phantom Dancer, extra longsword, Kraken Slayer, ready to go. 2 evolves, he's huge. This is gonna feel real comfortable. Third Dragon is alive, not immediately rushed down. Away starting it now. Xiaohu takes down top lane, outer turret. Crying gonna grab the wave in the bottom lane. And hey, Rift Herald, when it gets summoned, probably kills a tier 2 turret somewhere.
Yeah, and now PSG are in that position that all teams that are this far behind are in, of like, hey, we have 2 options. We can either try to Hail Mary somewhere on the map. We're going to send 5 members somewhere where, you know, maybe there's 3 or 4. We're going to try and win out that fight. If we don't, game's pretty much over, but the game would already be over anyway. Your second option, because you do have decent scaling, right? You have the Victor and the Tristana. You can just try to put down defensive vision and just give up as much as you can, wait for that soul point, and then hope you can take a fight then. But I think RNG have shown that they're too smart a team to let something like that happen.
Yeah, playing it very safe by the numbers. Nice try on the Morgana binding. Wouldn't have gone for the kill most likely, but still decent damage, obviously useful. All right, and as the backdoor bonus finally turns back on, they stop tanking the turret, wait for the next wave, and there we go. Bot lane tier 2 taken down. Right, reserve, smart about the play, reinforce as much as you need. Keep Xiaohu on the side to keep the farm up. 161 CS, not bad there. And we wait for the next big play. Baron up in a minute and a half, still a while to go for the next Dragon, and even longer for Dragon Soul, so not likely to be a game decider, but RNG just getting the base downtime. And again, 30 seconds left on Rift Herald Summon.
Yeah, and for PSG, they don't even have a turret yet. They really don't have any way of cross-mapping, right? Because RNG are so much stronger than you at this point. If you do try to cross-map, you will definitely lose more on your side of the map than you are able to get on the opposite side. And another issue with that would be, it doesn't really feel like it's impactful to make Kanabi strong at this point in the game, right? Because we've already highlighted the Braum, the Orianna is very strong right now. You have Wei, who's not going to let you get involved either. So it kind of feels like we're on Doggo and Maple or bust. And there's no clear-cut way to get them ahead other than to continue farming and hope that RNG makes a mistake somewhere.
You have to find some way to one-shot Gala or Cryan because everyone else is just going to be too tanky. Stopwatch there on Wei. I mean, one-item Trist at 19 minutes, that is not a threat. That is not going to get through two-item Lee Sin. That is not going to get through Locket Braum. You just won't kill frontline unless they horribly, horribly misplay the fight. It's on PSG, yeah, as you're mentioning, to find some kind of flank play, to get some kind of pick-off. And realistically, it's like, well, you could 3v1 Xiaohu in a side lane, but the other team is going to knock down your Nexus turrets or something like that, so good luck.
You know, I'm just saying, we've seen those trades made at MSI before.
We have.
We've seen them a few times.
Yeah. And sometimes people accept the offer, and they're like, all right, my Nexus, your Scuttle, okay, sounds good, let's do it. And unlucky there. Here we go. This is the play. This is the attempt. PSG looking for the moves. Into the front line already, though. They've shot down Nautilus right away. Morgana zones out River. He can't go for any much more. Victor gets some damage to the back lane. Shockwave gets dodged away. Not going to mean much there either, but team fight is 1 for 0 for RNG. Turret is down, inhibitor is down as well.
And there's just too much damage, right? They tried to go for the play. They weren't being gun shy. Ooh, Doggo is actually going to be fine. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but yeah, RNG just have too much damage. Even the front line of PSG gets bursted out. I think PSG are doing a decent job of buying time right now because after getting that pick, you assume RNG potentially would want to try to turn on the Baron and, you know, either rush that one down or try to force a bait. Not sure if they will still go for that one with every member of PSG up. And it looks like, no, they're just going to go for their resets.
All right, recalls come through. We know Baron is alive, but there's really no way PSG can rush that one down. There's a couple of wards trailing that this would be known in time. The TPs could come down from at least Xiaohu, and it would be enough to slow it down. So no counterpunch. PSG sadly just bleeding out on the map. 9,000 gold is the difference. One of the biggest leads I've seen at 20 minutes at this tournament. RNG have been winning from minute 2, realistically. You can see a 3,000 gold lead at the bottom lane, 3,000 gold lead, or at least 2.5 in the top lane. Even jungle's up 2K. This is just, you know, clapping everywhere.
Yeah, and again, a lot of it comes to the unfortunate circumstances of early game. Pretty much from the level 1 until that dive, it's like PSG dedicated 2 TPs. They lost tons of CS and EXP to their counterparts because their waves weren't set up correctly. They died level 1. Gala was able to outplay a gank at level 3. So pretty much everything that could have went wrong went wrong. And it's leading into this Baron. RNG at vision control, they once again do have that Lee Sin kick if they want to prevent River from coming in.
Finding lands, Lee Sin is here, kicks back, Nautilus can't get much more, over the wall! Oh, the smite is too early from River, he cannot claim the Baron. A nice try, the only miracle they could have pulled, and now it's time to run away. Shotgun's gonna land, Xiaohu is here, he's out of energy, but an auto attack is gonna be enough. Punch him in the kidneys, and down he goes. Red Bull Baron power play probably ends the game for RNG.
And RNG were definitely angry after that last loss where PSG smacked them. They came out in full force, and just overall, once again, the big performers performing. Xiaohu, good performance. Wei, good performance. And Gala popping off again.
And there's no Dancing Herald, but there is going to be a Dancing Team as they knock down Nexus turret number 1, and number 2 is up soon. River attacks a Spell Shield. That's not going to mean much there as Aatrox tries again. Gordrigger heals right back up, but they just don't have the damage. Here comes the kills yet again. River going to drop as well. Make it 2, make it 3. Maple respawns to a room on fire. His Nexus down to half HP. They might pad the stats. Can they find one more kill? Not really, but they will grab the Nexus. RNG on match point.
And you know, we've now had a 100% blue side win rate, but surprisingly, I don't know if blue side really changes the dynamic of this game that much, right? Because we've seen PSG be able to get this Udyr every time. This time they did kind of gamble. They went for that level 1 invade. Again, I'm not sure what they were thinking. I don't know if they just thought, hey, there's no way that this Morgana level's binding at level 1, maybe preemptively leveling her W. But that's not what happened. You're invading against a Braum Morgana. You kind of got punched in the face, Nautilus dies, and then we saw the snowball from there just go on. And it definitely feels like if PSG don't get an early game lead, there's really no avenue to fighting the win against RNG.
Absolutely the case. Level 1 goes pear-shaped, bot lane counterpunch is not enough. RNG came back with a vengeance in game 3, and when we return, the State Farm Analyst Desk will